recording, and we're set to go. So let's go to our chairs. Take the microphone along so you can hear me. Let's start this class in our usual neutral position. Most of you must be really familiar with this, but quick reminder, you're sitting right at the edge of the chair, almost to the point that your sit bones are tilting forward past the chair. And you bring your feet hip distance apart and parallel so that you're lining feet and knees and hips on the same line. So therefore you need to have your feet again to parallel, because as soon as you turn them out, the knees go out and you lose that connection. And anytime that I tell you that we're coming back to neutral position, this is the position of your feet here. Also, you want your feet right underneath the knees so that the shin bone here make a perpendicular angle with the floor, so that you're spreading the weight of your legs coming out of the chair down through the legs into your feet as evenly as possible through the whole surface of the feet. That's the right position here for the full support and for stability. And then from here, make sure that your hips also are rolling forward a little bit, and therefore you have a slight arching in your low back, instead of your usual rounding and collapsing and shoulders forward that can happen so often when we're sitting, especially when we're sitting for a long time. So roll the hips forward, and automatically as you do this, the spine has to recalibrate, and not only from the low back to get into that natural curve, but the natural curve of the low back then rises up, then that signal and that recalibration to the body for the shoulders to now come on top of the hips. Instead of being forward and closing, they start opening out. And then finally, the last part of the spine is that cervical spine that we call more commonly the neck. And that neck also rebalances itself to bring ideally the ears on top of the shoulders, instead of poking the chin forward or tucking the chin in and the ears going past the shoulders to the back. And this is your ideal posture here. That is the same actually when we're standing up. We're just standing instead of sitting, but the torso should be in that same alignment with the same small curve on the back, the ears on top of the shoulders. All that is very supportive of a healthy spine and a less tense back. And resting hands on top of the legs. We're going to close the eyes just for a bit here and start focusing on our breath. A big part, if not the #1 ingredient of mindful movement, has to do with paying attention to the breath. And the breath becomes therefore the leading component of movement. As soon as you lose your breath, then come back to the breathing, come back to becoming aware of the breath, even if that means that you need to stop moving. Give priority to a deep, wide, easy flow of the breath. So again, let's turn in to the nose breathing, letting go of the mouth breathing. So gently close your mouth. Again, if you're congested, then you'll have to get some help from the mouth, but as much as you can, breathe in and out through the nose. And the inhale is always the part of the breath that naturally comes in. All of it, obviously, we breathe throughout our days and nights without thinking about it, so it's pretty natural. But what is not natural is that we got in the habit of breathing really shallow. So paying attention to the inhale, see if you can allow your body to open up, to welcome more breath in, to go deeper into the lungs. And deeper means lower also, because the lowest part of the lungs is right behind the lower ribs. So you have quite a bit of way to go from the upper lungs being behind the collarbones to the low part of the lungs being all the way down to the belly. So allow yourself to breathe in slow and deep. And at first, the slowness might not be there. You might be a little agitated. So just follow whatever breathing you're coming in connection with. But eventually, as you take several rounds of breath, deep inhale, and then the exhale that follows has some different activity to it compared to the inhale, because the inhale again is very spontaneous. The exhale does require some muscular activity to squeeze the air out of the lungs. So paying attention to both inhale and exhales, see if by just paying attention, the breath starts changing in quality and depth. And then start feeling the body. The body starts moving on its own through the movement of the breath. You might feel a slight lift of the shoulders when you breathe in and you get into the full capacity of the breath in. And then as you exhale, you might feel that your body becomes a little heavier, that your shoulders drop, that there's a sense of compression into your spine a little bit, and the space between the ribs becomes smaller. And there's also a sensation that might not be as obvious for some of us, but eventually might be, where you're going more towards the inside of the body, like you're squeezing in towards your center, towards your core. Whereas when you're breathing in, the body expands out, and not just to the front or the sides, but also through the back. This is from a center point of the breath coming in, you're expanding into 360-degree all around out and away from the spine. And then feel the weight of your body shifting and allowing yourself to feel more relaxed on your sit bones. No need to contract and resist anything here. And then you feel that downward flow and downward weight upon your legs going down onto your feet. And now you're connecting through the sole of the feet with the ground under. Whatever surface you have, whether it's carpet or rug, wooden floor like me, tiles, whatever your floor is made of, get that feel of the surface of the floor underneath your feet, and ground and relax your feet deeper. Feel more connected, more steady, more stable against the floor. And now let's take 2 or 3 breaths where you inhale through the nose down into the lungs. And you feel the container of your breath filling up from the low lungs to the upper lungs. And follow the exhale, releasing from the top of the lungs, mid part of the lungs, all the way to squeezing the very bottom of the lungs at the end of the breath out. And one more, allowing the breath in to pour it down and fill up the container of breath from bottom to top. And you're exhaling out, pouring that breath out from the top to the bottom. And now you may gently open your eyes. And we're going to give a little swing to the shoulders from side to side, a little swing. Tilting from the weight of one elbow to the weight of the other elbow. And at first, let's focus on the shoulders and see how loose or tight the shoulders are. And then see if you can invite your neck and your head to go into the movement of the shoulders. Now your head and neck are tilting from one side to the other side, nice and easy. And just a few more here. That now we're not only tilting around the shoulders and the head, now feel also the tilting and the movement of your spine behind your navel. And let's make sure that our sit bones are firmly grounded and heavy onto the chair so that the spine can become more fluid because it feels stable and taken care of. Couple more, one on each side. And back to center to now get into some arm and shoulder movement. You're gonna sweep the arm forward and back, changing arms. And here I invite you to inhale as you swing that arm forward and exhale as you roll it back. At first, it can be just the arm moving as your torso stays in position. And then it feels right. You can tilt from the hips and reach further forward and open and twist further back. Inhale and exhale. Now you can add the movement of your head if it's not there yet, where you're following and gazing at your fingers, and therefore your head is moving from front to back. And deepening and lengthening the breath. Synchronizing the movement of the arm to the movement of the breath. And last two, one on each side. And release, come back to center. Notice if your shoulders feel already a little looser, a little more available. And we're going to go into another movement of the arm and shoulder, a different one, where you're going to sweep the arm, right arm in front of you, up the head, and then open out to the side, palm up, and then bring the arm back up and sweep it over and down. And left arm, sweep it up, open out, palm up, straight arm, nice and strong, and then bring it in and down. Right arm, lift up, open out, swing it back in and down. Left arm, lift it up, open out, and bring it back in and down. Right arm, open out, and bring it in and down. And left arm, swing out, bring it back in and down. Next one, we're going to add another movement. Inhale. Exhale, open, stay here. Right palm is up, and you're gonna rotate palm down and up, and down and up. And at first, you might see that the rotation is happening just from the hand. And I invite you here, as I just did, to turn the head over the right side and look at the movement of your hand. And then see if you can take the full arm from an external rotation to an internal rotation. And now you can reach a little deeper. The thumb is guiding you to almost create the full circle, or for some of you, it might be a full circle with the tip of the thumb. And the rotation goes all the way into the shoulder. Two more. Release, bring your right arm up, stretch up, reach to the ceiling, stretch, stretch, maybe wiggle your fingers up there, and then spread the fingers and stretch to the tip of the fingers, ground down into the right sit bone, and breathe here, stay here, engage your low belly gently into your spine, squeeze in a little bit. Feel the resistance, meaning that now probably several of you want to lower the arm because you get tired. See if you can stay a little longer unless it hurts. Stay and reach a little longer, maybe press into your feet and get a little deeper, lengthening up. And then soften gently that right arm slowly down. Hand lands on top of the right leg, and notice how different your right arm feels compared to the left arm. And let's go to the other side. We swing that left arm across and up, open and bring the palm up to the left, arm at that shoulder height. And then let's go into first focusing on the hand, turn your head over to the left, turn your palm down and up. So the movement here is coming mostly from the forearm out to the hand. We have that ability. There are a couple of bones in the forearm that are able to crisscross on top of each other. And then start engaging the whole arm all the way to the upper arm. And straighten your thumb out so that now you can use the thumb to be this device to rotate in and out to see how far you're getting into the range of motion, and then go all the way into the shoulder. The shoulder is rotating in and forward and back and opening, and you keep on breathing all along. Go for it a few more times into a deep, deep squeeze in, rotating in, and an opening and flipping up from the inner elbow to the palm and the shoulder rolling back to rotating in and the back of the elbow showing up or even rotating forward. And relax here. Pause, bring your left arm up and stretch and lengthen through that left arm. And we're staying here for several breaths to get comfortable with the understanding that you're staying in this pose for a while. But can you relax your face? Can you relax your jaw? Can you relax your chest? Even if you feel a stretch on the left side of the belly, can you relax the right side of the belly? Can you relax your right arm and shoulder? Relax your right leg, and still extending and reaching really tall up to your left fingers. Maybe you wiggle your fingers a little bit, and then you stretch and spread the fingers even further. One more breath or two here. Get comfortable within the discomfort of the tensing up of the body through the left side. Just watch. Keep on breathing. And then softly, slowly release that left arm, bending at the elbow, floating your left arm down, and noticing the effects as you rest your hand back down onto your lap. Feel now both shoulders, both arms. Notice if things have shifted a little bit. And let's slide the hands forward to being on top of the knees so that we can go into spinal waves with quite a bit of range of motion. So we're going to start from the hips. You're starting from rolling the hips forward and back. As I'm rolling my hips forward and starting opening the chest and spreading the shoulders back, I'm also feeling that I'm shifting my weight naturally, which is obviously common sense here, but we don't pay attention to it. As we're shifting the torso forward somehow, even if it's with an arching of the back, you feel a little heavier on your feet in this position versus rounding back. And now the weight goes away from the feet and you have more weight on the chair. Inhale, you're rolling forward and the weight shifts from the chair down to the feet. And as you go back, that weight goes more into the chair, more into the sit bones and lighter on the feet. Inhale forward, shifting from chair to feet, and exhaling back, shifting back onto the sit bones. Now think about the shoulders or feel the shoulders and see if you can close the shoulders deeper in when you're rolling your spine back. Drop the chin down, squeeze in, pop the back of the shoulders wide open through the back, and then roll forward, open the shoulders back, stretch the center of the chest forward, chin goes away. And 2 more. Roll in, round in, hug in, squeeze in. Shift forward, open, stretch, create space both on the spine, across the chest, into the rotation of the hips, on your throat. And last one, round in. Drop the chin down, look at your navel, and expand out. And relax back to center, hands up again, just above the knees, not too high, just to give a few rotations to the wrists. And reverse, other direction. And release, bringing your thumbs in, curl the fingers on top, and squeeze your fist really tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then stretch and release the fingers like powerfully out. I'm showing you my hands here to see how I'm spreading my fingers, but you can do it like facing each other, and then curl those thumbs in, curl the fingers up top, squeeze in, squeeze all the fingers, and stretch out, spread out. 2 more. Thumbs first, wrap your fingers around and press in. And stretch out, feel the stretch through the palms. And then relax and soften the fingers and shake all out. Shake your fingers and hands. And relax back down. Take a moment here. Feel the spine, feel your arms, feel your hands, and breathe. Bringing your right hand behind you on top of the chair. If you have an arm to the chair and it's not easy to bring that hand down on the chair behind you, you can bring your forearm on the chair. In any ways, you're going to press down in your feet, press down into your left hand, and rotate your right shoulder back. Turn your head over the right shoulder and breathe. Now see how shifting the weight and the pressure on your feet affects or impacts the twist. Press down into the right foot, feel what that does. I won't tell you, just have the experience for yourself. And then shift and press down into your left foot and see what happens. Press down into the right foot again. And press down into the left foot. Now as you press down on the right foot, inhale. And as you press down on the left foot, exhale. One more. Inhale, press down into the right foot. And exhale, press down into the left foot. And release everything back to center. Right hand or right forearm back to center. Take a moment here. Breathe in and out. And let's switch. Pressing down into the right hand onto the right leg. Left hand goes behind or top of the armchair, forearm on the chair. And then press and twist. Press into the right hand, twist over to the left. Find that first level of the stretch where there's just the action of the right hand and the twisting of your spine, the pressing down into the left hand, the support of the chair, or you're pressing down on your forearm on the arm of the chair. And now feel your weight on your feet, and you're going to press into the left foot and press into the right foot. Press into the left foot and feel any differences in your twist. Press into the right foot and feel what happens. And then let's synchronize with the breath. Press into the left foot as you inhale. Press into the right foot as you exhale. Press onto the left foot as you inhale. Press down into the right foot as you exhale. Press into the left foot as you inhale, last round. And press into the right foot as you exhale. Check your twist here. And release all together, coming back to center. Maybe you shake your shoulders a little bit. You shake your spine a little bit and you settle back into the neutral position. Let's go down on your feet and we're gonna activate those feet with a tapping on the floor. The tapping, you might not have seen, but as I was leaning forward a little bit, naturally to be able to tap the feet and engage my core, I have to shift back a little bit without rounding. Just a little bit of tilting of the hips back and squeezing the belly, and let's tap. I'm tapping mostly from the ball of the feet. The heels become light and barely touch the floor. Not that they're reaching up high, they're hovering, but the intensity of the tapping comes from the ball of the feet and toes. And then from here, you're gonna walk out to the right and then tap out to the left. You're gonna go from side to side, from right to left. Feet are still about hip distance apart, even during the tapping. See my feet completely, like now might be easier. And then you're gonna go into crazy chaos. You're gonna go in any direction. Still I'm tapping with your feet, but instead of keeping those feet hip distance apart, they're crossing and going. They have their own agenda or no agenda. And they just go a little wild and crazy hectic. And notice how that feels on your belly. You can, even if you feel stable enough, bring your hands to your belly. If you feel this is challenging, you can hold on the arms of your chair or the chair behind you, but make sure you're not rounding your body. And keep on going. Now you're noticing that your breath might be changing, might go a little faster, and that your heart rate feels a little faster, a little more present. And slow down, go back to hip distance apart and ground. Hands to the lap and feel. Feel your legs, feel the sensations in your feet. Feel your breath, maybe starting slowing down and coming back to a more natural flow. And feel your heartbeat, including that if you wish, you can place one hand on your chest and bring that calming sensation from your hand into your chest, into your heart, so your heartbeat goes slower and relaxes. Good, and release that right hand back down. Take a moment here, pause and breathe. And let's go for another round of another sequence. You're gonna press down into the left foot. And by the action of pressing down in the left foot, there's kind of a shift already in the hips and the sliding of the sit bones back. And purposefully, you're gonna tilt the right hip back as you press into the left foot to lighten the load on the right leg and see if you can lift that right foot up a bit. And a bit meaning an inch to an inch and a half from the floor. And we're gonna stretch the leg forward, open out, and bring it back in. And all this like hovering on top of the floor. You're not lifting the leg high. So now you feel your belly engaging, you're pressing down into the left foot. And you're creating circles with your right foot and right leg. Couple more. Back to center, lift up and down, like an inch or two up, an inch or two down. 5 times. Yeah, the leg might feel really heavy here. You can do it. Engage your core a little stronger. Keep on breathing. 1 more, lift up, hold a little higher, and release all the way down. Hands to the knees, shake the legs out all the way to the hips. And let's go to the other side, pressing down into the right foot. Feel how the hips push back, or the sit bones are rolling back a little bit toward the back of the sit bones. And then tilt that left hip back. Right foot, right leg pushing forward, left hip back. And then lift that left foot up an inch or inch and a half from the floor. And we're gonna start sliding out to the side, pulling back in. Stretch out to the front, open out. And your circle can be tiny, like right here. It doesn't have to be that wide. But if you have more to play with, a broader range of motion, then you can open the leg wider, but keep the foot at the same distance from the floor all around. You're hovering over the floor. Keep on pressing down into the right foot, engaging your belly. Keep on breathing, nice and smooth. One more circle, bring the foot back to center. Now you're gonna go up and down. An inch or two up, an inch or two down. Not all the way to touching the foot down. You're still keeping the foot up the floor. And one last, hold it up, breathe, feel the tension, the activation of the leg really strong. And then release that left foot down, grab the knees and shake things out before any cramping happens. And back to center, back to neutral. Take a breath or two here. Reestablish your spine alignment, your head floating right on top of the spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's go with the right leg, where we're gonna interlace the fingers behind the leg to get a good grip here. We're tilting from the hips to reach forward, not from the upper back rounding forward. You tilt the hips. Now the spine is nice and long. I can catch my leg behind. Press down to the left foot and tilt back, using your arms straight to lift the leg up. Rotate the right foot a few times in one direction. Out in the other direction. Listen to any crackling joints here. That's my kind of joints making noises. And then relax that foot completely. And we're gonna kick the foot and leg out and let it go in. And then kick out and let it go in. You're kicking out. Doesn't mean that you have to have a straight leg like me. It can be a bent knee. You just do your best here to kick the leg out. And when you kick the leg out, you pause, kind of freeze, and then relax and let it dangle. And then kick out and relax and dangle. And I'm gonna go sideways so you can see it from a different angle here. Kick out and dangle. And my back is nice and long. I'm not rounding in. Kick out and dangle. And last one, kick out. Hold, hold, hold. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Flex the foot and stretch through the back of the leg. Even if your leg is down here, that's fine. Flex the foot. And then relax the foot, relax the leg. And land that right foot down. Come back to sitting up nice and tall. And let's go with the other leg. Crisscross, like interlace the fingers underneath the left leg, hinging from the hips. Grab behind the leg. Press down into the right foot, straight arms, pull the leg up. Rotate your left ankle. And here, when I do my own ankle rotation, I like to have a soft gaze lost in the space in front of me, not up above, but low to the ground, not all the way down, but like about 6 feet in front of me on the floor. And then rotate the ankle the opposite way around. And with peripheral vision, I see the movement of my foot and ankle. And I just relax my breath in that soft gazing, peripheral gazing, as my eyes are resting 6 feet away on the floor. And then stop the rotation of the foot, kick the leg out, and dangle. Kick and dangle. Stretch out, slight pause, and then let it dangle. And kick, and hold for a second or two, and drop. And again, and drop. Usually I find myself breathing in when I kick out, and breathing out, and soft breathing as it dangles. Breathe in, and relax. Breathe in, and relax. Last one, breathe in, stay here, keep on breathing now in and out with your legs stretching out. And again, it can be right here. Now, if it's lower, you're gonna have to press on the right foot a little deeper. And then let's flex the foot. I'm gonna go lower so you can see with the pillow, darker pillow, you can see my foot better than when I'm lifting it up and it gets blended into the white background. But I'm flexing the foot, flexing the toes towards me, feel the stretch to the back of the leg. Even if my knee is bent here, if I was to bend the knee deep, I'm still flexing the foot and feeling the stretch in the back of the leg. Relax the foot, relax the leg, and let's land back down, release the hands, and back to sitting. Shake the shoulders out, and relax back into your neutral position. Feet hip distance are apart and parallel right underneath the knees. Take a breath or two here, feel your back. Deep inhale and long exhale. Sliding your hands forward on top of the knees again. We're going to go into spinal wave, but this time in circular motion, forward, down, back up. So we're going to tuck the chin in, roll in, roll the spine, then dive into the space between the legs and stretch the spine out and away, lift up. Exhale, round in, come down, inhaling away, exhaling up. Exhaling, so you inhale, stay in position, exhale, curl in, come down, inhale out, and pause. Breathe in, curl in and down, breathe out, breathe in, stretch out, and come up. Now I'm going to invite you to add a movement of the arms. If your back feels very tense and your belly is not that strong, so you'll notice as you do the first or two rounds, then you bring your hands back to your knees and you use your hands to push away and the action of the legs to free the spine from having to tense up too much. If not, you keep the movement of the arms. So you're going to roll in and then dive the hands down as you come forward and lift up. And then bring them in as you round and roll down, come down. So you're scooping forward and down again. Breathe in, big wave, and out. Breathe in and out. And last one, breathe in and out. Breathe in and stay. Spread the fingers wide, stretch through your palms. Try to swing your arms back and chest forward and up. Then soften the action of the shoulders and arms back by bringing them forward. Swing your arms forward and back and grab the chair behind you, the sides of the back of the chair. Grab with your hands, and we're going to roll the shoulders back and poke the center of the chest forward as you roll the shoulder blades back and together. Look gently up, chin away slightly. And now each breath in, see if you can inflate your rib cage a little broader, a little higher, and feel the stretch on your belly. And as you exhale, soften in your pelvis, relax your belly, feel the shoulder blades sliding in together a little stronger. And then again, inhale, inflate the chest all the way to the collarbones. You'll feel the shoulder blades wanting to go apart a little bit. And exhale, ground and soften into your pelvis, onto the chair. Feel the lower ribs sliding down and feel the shoulder blades sliding down and in toward each other a little easier. One more breath. Breathe in. Pull the lower ribs away from the hips. Inflate the breath to the max. Maybe you hold it for 1 second here. And then breathe out and relax and soften and bring your arms forward and hands land down on your legs. Take a breath or two here. Feel how you've released the intensity of the stretch by noticing a tingling maybe or shivering through your arms, onto your chest and your belly, or even into your shoulders and shoulder blades. Notice what is happening here. Deep, long breath in and out. Opening your left foot out, you're going to open the toes out, open the heel out, and open the toes out. And stay here. And then you're going to open right toes out, right heel out, right toe out, and right heel out. And then you anchor your foot in a way that you're rotating your toes in, so your whole leg is rotating in. And now at this point, my right sit bone is not quite touching the chair anymore. The right hip is inner rotating toward the left leg. My left leg needs to be really strong here, keeping the knee right on top of the ankle. Don't drop the knee in. Keep it pushing back. And then we're going to bring the left hand on top of the left knee. So yeah, your torso can lean over to the left a little bit, but without collapsing. Keep your right shoulder opening back. Now you see that I'm creating a line between my torso and my right leg. And we're going to stretch that right arm across and forward. If you can, at the level of your forehead, or even slightly higher. But if you go higher, your right shoulder is going to start rising up. So you want to keep your shoulder down, but your arm extending. If you cannot lift it that far up, you bring it at shoulder level. What you're trying to avoid is bringing it down here, because then the shoulder is collapsing down. So either to shoulder high or a little higher, and then stretch out as you press into the back foot, down into the outer edge of the foot. You're lifting the inner arch of the foot, and you're stretching away with that right arm. And breathe. Press down into your left sit bone, press down into the left foot, press down into the left hand. All that left side is really strongly anchoring the right side to stretch away. And now we're going to swing that right arm along the body and back, and open the shoulder back. Look back, turn your head over the right shoulder, and release back down. Shift your weight back toward the right sit bone. Bring your right heel in, ground, right foot in, right heel in, toes in and back to parallel. Bring the left toes in, the left heel in, the left toes in, back to center. Look down and make sure your feet are parallel, that one foot is not sliding further forward than the other one or further back. And sit tall here. Take a couple of breaths. Be aware of your body and notice if the right side of the body feels any different from the left side of the body. And let's go to the other side. Right toes open out, right heel opens out, right toes out, and stay. Make sure your knee is aligning with your foot, that your toes are not turning in and your knee trying to open out. Or more often what happens, the right foot opens out and the knee is dropping in. So when you look over here, in this position where my toes are further out than the knee, I see my knee straight forward and there's an angle of about 30 degrees between my foot and my knee. And I want both of them to be on the same line. So realign that right foot in so that you can see the knee. And then I'm seeing my big toe, second toe, third toe are about. And that's where we want to be, in that position, that the knee is properly aligned for its own good health. And now you can press down into that right foot and engage the right leg fully. And then we're going to open the left toes out, left heel pops out, left toes out, left heel out, turn the toes in, start rotating. Ideally, your left leg is completely straight. So you have to find the angle where you're rotating the leg all the way to the hip to be able to bring that left leg to straight. I'm shifting my weight right hand on top of the right knee and my torso follows. So I'm starting finding that line between the left leg and the torso. And then finally, I'm stretching my left arm forward to the right, either shoulder high or a little further, a little higher, like hands aligning with the forehead, stretching away or about. And breathe, keep your shoulders down and stretch. Press into the left foot and stretch through the left side of the body, through the left arm, into the left fingers. And breathe. Really activating that back foot, the left foot pressing to the outer edge and trying to lift the inner arch of the left foot. So the left leg is fully engaged and strong here. And then I'm activating the right leg by pressing down into the right foot, pressing down from the right hand down through the leg. One more breath, stretch away. And then swing that left arm without collapsing in the legs. Keep the same action of the legs. The arm swings along the body and opens back. Turn your head over the left shoulder and breathe. Deep, long breath here. Release, left hand down. Bring your left heel in. Left toes in. I start shifting the weight to my left sit bone. Now my left sit bone is grounded. Left heel in, toes in. And then right foot in, right heel in, right toes in. Find your feet to parallel. Readjust yourself on the edge of the chair and breathe. Deep, long breath in and out. Shifting hands to the top of the knees, rock the hips forward, squeeze the pelvic muscles up as if you needed to pee and you stop the peeing from happening. Then you engage the belly. From the action of the pelvis, the belly already engages. Shift a little further forward, press and lift up. And let's go to the back of the chairs. I'm gonna rotate sideways so you can see me, but you're staying just straight behind your chair. And from here, move this here, yeah. You're gonna stand into the standing neutral position. And the standing neutral position means that your feet again are hip distance apart and parallel to each other. You can look down and make sure that's the case, that you don't have duck feet opening out. And then give a little swing of the hips forward and back with a soft bend in the knees, and try to assess here where your weight is shifting on the surface of your feet. And that's a tiny movement because ideally and progressively you're going to come to a point that is neither too heavy on your heels nor too heavy on the ball of the feet. Right in between, you're spreading the weight evenly. Then you relax the shoulders down right on top of the hips. You bring your chin back a little bit so your ears can line on top of the shoulders, and you start feeling a broadening and at the same time a softening around the chest area. And a softening also in the space between the shoulder blades to the back. Because in most of us, the tendency is to go into here. And when you go here, you can check it for yourself. You feel tension on your upper back. Those muscles between the shoulder blades get really tight, and therefore they pull on the neck. Chin goes forward, and now it's really hard to stay here. It's very uncomfortable. So press back up. Bring the shoulders on top of the hips. Chin in, ears on top of the shoulders. You can have a little movement of the head from side to side to find the right spot. And when you inhale, feel that the lengthening and lifting of the ribs, the lower ribs up, and you feel a little bit of a stretching on your belly. The ribs open out, spread out, and as you exhale, it softens back in, and you feel a softening to the back of the neck, the back of the shoulders, all the way to the softening of the low back. Let's take one more conscious breath here. Inhale fully. Feel the expansion and the lowering of the diaphragmatic muscle. And that expand the rib cage out. You feel a pulling and a lifting up. And exhaling, you're softening in and down. Notice how the weight of your body feels a little heavier on your feet, onto the ground. Good. Soft bend in the knees. We're going to bend the knees a little bit and give ourselves a nice hip roll movement here. Rotate the hips around. So the hips, especially here in this country, are really tight. There's some countries in the world that hips are loose and flexible. Here, because probably part of it because we're sitting on chairs a lot more than we should, then the hips get really tight and really stiff. And so you want to get the ability back of moving your hips fluidly around, which is the base of communication between the torso and the legs. That's the connector right there, the hips. So how can you fluidly walk and efficiently walk with proper alignment and posture if your hips are stiff and locked? I don't know. I don't think that's possible. And let's go to the other side, roll out the opposite direction. Notice how when you're rolling your hips around, you're shifting naturally, obviously, the weight along your feet. So now you can feel and perceive the rotation of your hips down on your feet. And here, I don't know if you paid attention to that, but my head and shoulders are not going anywhere. I'm not rotating with the hips. That could be a movement, but right now, we're trying to focusing on isolating the movement of the hips. And the simple movement can be really relaxing. It can be relaxing for your nervous system, for your breathing, but also relaxing and softening for your low back. And a lot of us, again, through stressors of life, bad positions, sitting for long hours, get back pain. And this is a very simple movement to start unwinding, releasing a little bit of that low back tension. Couple more. You could do this for hours and feel so good. And come back to center. You're going to press down into the left foot, shifting the weight to the left leg, and then lifting your right heel up and curling those toes in a way that the front of the foot goes forward as much as possible. So you're really pressing into your toes here. And even shift forward a little bit using your hands, pressing down on the chair and getting those toes a deep, deep stretch. And then shifting back and releasing that right heel down. Come back to that even weight between right and left foot. And then let's go to the other side. Feel that left heel up as you shift your weight to your right leg and right foot. And now we're pressing into the ball of the left foot, trying to press to shift that left knee forward, front of the left foot shifting forward. For some of you, it might not happen as deep as that, and you might have to pull back a little bit because your toes are not as bendy. Why? Because they've been in shoes for most of your life, which is why it's really beneficial to walk barefoot when you're at home. Shift and stretch if you have a little more range of motion here, including shifting your weight forward, pressing down in the chair, and returning back to center, dropping the left heel down. Now shifting your weight slightly back. So you see the movement of my hips go back a little bit. So the weight goes on my heel, and now I'm trying to lift my toes up, curling the toes up. So from stretch, now we go into muscular activity, into strengthening the ability of the muscles of your feet to engage. Lift, you can look down at your toes, rising up. And then release your toes down. Come back to neutral. You're gonna shift your weight to your left, but I'm gonna face you for that because that's gonna be easier for you to see. You shift your weight to your left foot and you lift your right foot, you open it out 2 inches and ground back down. Then shift your weight to your right foot, lift the left foot just enough to step out 2 inches to the left and ground down. And now check back, your feet are parallel, but not hip distance apart. Now you have a different sensation between your legs here. You're gonna bring your right arm up and lean out to the left. Either your hand is on top of the chair, or you can do like me, bring your arm to the side, to the left side, and as you lengthening out through the right arm, reaching out to the left, you're gonna slide your left hand down through the left leg and breathe. Press down into your feet. Here you can also play with the action of the pelvis. So see what happens when you're squeezing the pelvic floor, the pelvis muscles, and relaxing, and squeeze them up. Kegel exercise for women. Men, you're not familiar with that, but it's the same action as, again, when you feel like you need to pee and you have to hold it and relax. And again, 2 more, squeeze in and up and relax. And last one, squeeze in and up. Maybe you're lifting slightly away from the stretch. Exhale, relax, go a little deeper in the bend, and then press down into your feet to lift everything back up. Release that right arm out to the side. Roll your right shoulder a few times in one direction and reverse a couple times in the other direction and back to center. Bring that active legs in action here. Action and tensing up, contracting the muscles. And then we're gonna lift that left arm up, tilt out to the right, keep your legs engaged, and either hand to the chair if you feel that's more stable to you, or arm to the side of the body, sliding down, relaxing your right shoulder down, and breathe. Deep, long breath in and out. And now again, in the side stretch, you're gonna squeeze the pelvis muscles and relax. Squeeze up, feel the action of the belly, and relax. Squeeze in and up, and relax. And last one, squeeze the pelvis, relax, push, press back up, and release out. Good. Shift your weight to your left foot. Lift your right heel, slide in 2 inches. Shift out to the right, lift your left heel, slide in 2 inches. Come back to center, feet hip distance apart and parallel. Take a breath here. And let's do our last stretch because it's late already. Let's walk back and find the right distance to have that nice back stretch where you're folding forward from the hips, not from the back. You're rolling the hips under, sit bones back, and sinking, stretching through the back, bringing your ears in alignment with your arms. And then imagine someone grabbing your upper thigh from behind you and pulling the thigh back. So now you're creating more length for the sides of the torso to expand out. If this is not doable for you without rounding the back, bend the knees and drop the chest and the belly as much as you can. Keep on breathing. One last breath here. Feel the stretch through your arms, into your shoulders and armpits, to the sides of the body, of the torso. And then pressing back up. Push away. Walking forward. Stay a little further away from the chair than usual. Arms to the side. And let's do that last little twist and swinging of the arms, slapping from side to side. And back to center to come back to sitting on the chair. And back to the neutral position that we worked from and came back to during the class. Hands rest on top of your lap. Readjust your neck a little bit as needed. You can move it around and find that right spot where your head is naturally floating on top of the spine, just holding on its own without overly tensing anything around. And then close your eyes and feel your breath rising and falling. Feel the expansion of the breath away from the center of the body and the contracting or releasing of the breath towards the center of the body. Expand and release in. Two more time from mostly the chest and the rib cage perspective. And then place your hands on your low belly and try to guide the breath to come all the way down into your hands. So your hands expand out on the breath in and squeeze gently back in on the breath out. Breathe in, into your hands, down into the lowest part of the lungs. Breathe out, squeezing the breath out of the body from the hands up to the nostrils. One more mindful breath here. Breathe in, nice, deep and long. And breathe out. Releasing your hands back to your lap. Feel your body just for a breath or two. Feel your full body from your feet and legs, from your hands and arms, base of the spine to the top of the head, from front to back. Feel the sides of the torso from the armpits to the outer hips. And try to capture the whole body sensation all at once, so that you have an experience of oneness in your body. It's not an arm, not a leg, nothing is separate. It's all connected. And we're going to finish with some tapping. And today we're going to start the tapping from where the hands are landing. So you're going to tap on your legs. You don't have to open your eyes for this. You can keep your eyes closed and then naturally tap your hands up and down your upper legs from close to the hips to close to the knees. You can tap the inside of the leg, the inside of the inner upper legs, and then the outside from outer knees to outer hips. And then go up onto your belly and tap around the belly, full hands from the top of the hips to the lower ribs, top of the navel, sides of the navel, up and down, side of the waistline, nice and loose. Go up onto your ribs, maybe a little lighter on the tapping, up to you. Find what intensity of tapping feels right. And then go up on your chest and maybe tap a little lighter here using your fingers instead of the full hands and see how that feels. All the way to tapping gently on your collarbones with your fingers. And that will be like half fingers out to the tip of the fingers, not really the base of the fingers. And then tap along the neck. You can tilt your head a little bit and tap behind the neck. Your fingers, the sides, the base of the neck and throat. From the neck, you can tap on top of the shoulders, along the sides of the neck and down to the tip of the shoulders. You can do it a few times here. And then gentle tapping with the tip of the fingers onto your face. All around. The eyes, around the mouth, sides of the neck, of the nose, along your cheekbones, to the side of the cheeks, maybe on top of the ears, around a little bit. From the forehead to the hairline. And then tap around your head. Now you can go a little more intense here. This is more sturdy, this less sensitivity here. So you can tap all around your skull. Then soft back onto your face to land the palms on top of your eyes and cup your eyes with your hands. Soften here and breathe. And gently release those hands out and down to land them back onto your legs. And when you're ready, start opening your eyes. Reconnecting with the space around you, with lights and colors and shapes. And we're done for today. I'm going to come to you with the microphone and I'll unlock the ability for you to use your microphones. And I'll look at your comments